morning, everyone, and welcome to our third annual BIZCON SoCal, the region's leading virtual entrepreneur and innovation conference. My name is Danita Willoughby, and I'm a vice president at SoCal Gas, and I'm proud to serve as the 2020 board chair for the Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to be here today as your MC. Throughout the last few months, we've seen tremendous change in Los Angeles, the state of California, and our nation. What I've seen through it all is determination, compassion, and innovation that makes me proud to be an Angelino. As we're looking for an understanding of our new normal, we must not forget to celebrate the resiliency of our community and the small businesses that fuel our economy, as well as our recovery. So I want you to get ready for 2 action-packed days filled with inspiring stories from businesses in our community. We'll have valuable resources and tools to help your organization navigate and thrive in our new economy. Today, we'll hear from our very own Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Maria Salinas, who will share an in-depth address on the state of small businesses in our region, their power to fuel our economy, and a vision for a path forward to victory. We'll then hear from our keynote speaker, Kathy Ireland, the original model turned mogul. She is a CEO, chief designer, global entrepreneur, and trendsetter. Ms. Ireland is considered one of the most influential people in fashion today. We'll then break into concurrent sessions where our panel of experts will share their insights on our business's most valued asset, our employees, and how we can help them be safe, healthy, and motivated as we reopen our economy. You'll also hear from our partners on leveraging businesses' tech tools to adapt, pivot, and thrive. And lastly, we'll close the day with our virtual networking and expo hall, where you'll have the opportunity to connect with our sponsors, resource partners, and fellow attendees. We may be physically distant, but there will be plenty of opportunities to socially engage today. But before we dive in, I'd like to thank our 2020 BIZCON sponsors. Today wouldn't be possible without their generous support. Our presenting sponsor, Bank of the West, our silver sponsors, Delta Airlines, Facebook, Russell Westbrook Enterprises, our bronze sponsors, Goldman Sachs, 10,000 Small Businesses, Kaiser Permanente, Ralph's, Southern California Edison, and Williams Data Management. I'd like to say a few words, if I could, about today's presenting sponsor, Bank of the West. This is their second year supporting BIZCON, and we're so glad to have them back with us. They are a true community partner dedicated to taking action and supporting activities that help protect the planet, improve people's lives, and strengthen communities. Now I'd like to introduce Byron Rivera, SVP and West Coast Business Banking Group Manager, here today to share a few words on behalf of Bank of the West.
Good morning. My name is Byron Rivera, and I'm the Group Manager for Business Banking for Bank of the West. We're excited to be back to help kick off BIZCON 2020. We're proud to support the LA Chamber's vision and partner assisting our region's entrepreneurs through BIZCON and through our ongoing collaboration. Entrepreneurship is key to economic mobility for all of us. Bank of the West remains committed to that effort. We are very active in funding many SBA PPP loans, and currently we're rolling out the new Main Street Lending Program. And in general, Bank of the West remains very active in lending despite the impact of coronavirus. Ensuring a robust and inclusive economy is a priority for Bank of the West, and we will continue being a partner for small business. Our CEO, Nandita Bakshi, and our 2 keynotes this year are all strong and successful female leaders and entrepreneurs. Bank of the West is a big champion for women entrepreneurs and diversity. We have resources on our website and have events for women business owners. Our executive team is 30% women and 1/3 people of color. The bank is also a big champion for the environment. Unlike some other banks, we have made a stand to not finance coal, fracking, tar sands, and fossil fuel. I encourage you to visit our website to learn more on that effort. I would like to thank the LA Chamber for this opportunity to partner with them, and I wish everyone a fun and productive day at the event. Thank you again.
Thank you to Byron and Bank of the West for being a great partner in the region. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Los Angeles Area Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Maria Salinas. Through her leadership, the Chamber has taken steps to reimagine a bold future for Los Angeles. Maria took the helm of the organization in August of 2018, becoming the first woman and Latina to lead the Chamber in its 132-year history. An accomplished entrepreneur and a determined community leader, her business acumen and financial expertise provide her with the right experience to lead the Chamber. I'm so pleased to have the opportunity to work so closely with Maria as we boldly advocate for our businesses and communities. Please welcome Maria Salinas.
Thank you, Danita. Thank you so much for those kind words and for your leadership in bringing this chamber to navigate it during this crisis that we're under. I'd like to welcome all of you for this amazing day to kick off BIZCON SoCal. And I first want to say that I hope you are all very safe and doing well during this time period. This is a new format for us, a virtual presentation of BIZCON SoCal, our premier small business conference. For those of you that joined us last year, you remember the excitement in the exhibit halls, the energy in the room, and the inspiring stories of so many entrepreneurs. Each story had a common theme, an idea, a dream, hard work, rejection and failure, persistence, maybe a breakthrough, an opportunity, and success. This is the path that is known to every entrepreneur. And in Los Angeles, a region known for its creativity and innovation, it's fertile ground for businesses to start and grow. Last year's outlook was great. And today, I reflect on a day that we were in Washington, D.C. On March 11th, the Chamber took its federal legislative visit to our nation's capital. While we were there, we learned that this health crisis, known as COVID-19, had been named a pandemic. Each day, the news seemed to get worse. The thought of an economy shutting down seemed so foreign at the time. In those very early days, as Congress was contemplating a relief package, I'll never forget sitting in Senator Kamala Harris's office with our delegation and speaking to her about making sure that any relief that was considered at the federal level needed to reach our small business community. We spoke of bridge loans, of direct grants, of technical assistance investment. We never imagined that one, Congress would end up passing a $2 trillion stimulus package. And number two, that it wouldn't be enough. I've always said that small businesses fuel our economy. They account for about 99% of all the employers in the United States, and they employ over 56 million people nationwide. In LA County, 93% of all businesses have 20 or fewer employees. We shouldn't be surprised that in LA County, that we also have the largest concentration of minority-owned businesses in the United States. The diversity of our small business community here in Los Angeles is the value that we bring to this regional global economy. So today's story is very different. The state of small business is grim, but in a time of great disruption, I'd like to think that there's a silver lining. The coronavirus pandemic has proven to be a significant threat to our small business economy, and closing businesses resulted in a devastating impact on all those that have struggled to stay afloat, and some have closed. It is estimated that small business closures could reach about 100,000 nationally. Many small business owners were unsuccessful in obtaining relief loans. This is especially true with minority-owned and immigrant businesses. Underbanked businesses, those without relationships with a traditional bank, never had a chance. The health crisis and the recent civil unrest has exposed economic disparities and inequality in our African American, our Latino, and other minority communities. And so reopening for small businesses will be tough because of the complexities that you have of navigating so much on your own, from liability and compliance to safety protocols. Recovery won't be immediate, it will be gradual, and we need to prepare for that. There have been some bright spots. Small businesses were quick to pivot. Some in the garment industry shifted from production of apparel to producing personal protective equipment rather quickly. Restaurants, while they have taken a great hit, they've also adapted to a takeout and a delivery mode. One of our own members, Yuka, is an example of how they were able to pivot and even deliver to healthcare workers. And business owner Dora Herrera learned how to put her Instagram to work for her business. There are many examples of the creative ideas that you, the small businesses, the entrepreneurs, and the innovators kept our businesses going. Our path to recovery means that small businesses need to lead. I really believe that. You need to lead because this economy is yours. I can point 3 things that I bet you are already doing today that make you the perfect segment to lead our recovery effort. As business owners, you are reimagining your business model. There's an old adage that within every crisis, there's an opportunity. As you rethink your strategy, think about how that can fit into a greater entrepreneurial strategy for the region. You are reimagining every day, and we need to leverage that for our large community. As business owners, you are using innovation and technology to reach your customers and your employees. This will be the new norm. Innovation is part of every entrepreneur's journey. And as a small business, you are flexible and nimble to try new ideas. Take those ideas and help us bring that to scale when it comes to recovery. And you know how to leverage network, relationship, and support systems to navigate your businesses. And now it's more important than ever as we are in uncharted waters. Demonstrate how you can take advantage of everything available to you to strengthen your business and help us all learn from you. We realize a couple of things about our small businesses. You are essential to the economy. If Los Angeles is to recover, then small business recovery efforts need to be top priority. Los Angeles has the ingredients for a robust entrepreneurial ecosystem where business ownership can be the equalizer, the economic equalizer for so many. We can lead by bringing forward an inclusive economy. The Chamber is committed to these principles, and we're here for you, ready to support you through our technical assistance, through our procurement initiatives like One LA, through the public policy that we advance to ensure that small businesses can thrive in Los Angeles. And through our work in the Governor's Task Force and LA County's Economic Resiliency Task Force, we will continue to lend our voice to ensure that small businesses remain a top priority in this recovery. In closing, today we have brought forward some of the foremost experts in entrepreneurship. They will share stories of success and approaches to taking small businesses to the next level. Have a wonderful session. Take advantage of these resources. Every small business owner and entrepreneur starts with a dream. You experience the setbacks and failures before you reach success. But that experience that sets you apart is the persistence. Be persistent, be determined, because I know you will be successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, for your leadership, your insight, and vision. And I just love those stories of how small businesses are pivoting to really adapt to our new normal. I am now pleased to introduce our next speaker. From supermodel to world-famous lifestyle designer and entrepreneur, Kathy has grown a $2 billion organization. $2 billion, amazing. Kathy is with us today to share her insights on the dynamic and rapidly evolving business of licensing and its power in small business, big business, and philanthropy. We like to make today's session as interactive as possible with audience Q&A. To the right of your screen, you'll see our event Q&A tab. Please feel free to submit your questions as we go, and we'll promise to get to as many of those as possible today. So now I'm pleased to welcome Kathy Ireland to BIZCon 2020.
Danita, thank you for that kind introduction, and good morning to everyone. It is such a pleasure and honor to join each of you and to thank Maria Salinas, President and CEO of LA Chamber of Commerce. We are also deeply grateful to the members, colleagues, volunteers, and staff of BIZCon. And of course, the LA Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much. And thank you to each of you for getting up early and joining us. Would you please give each of these leaders and yourselves a big round of applause? You're amazing. And today we're speaking of the power of licensing in small business, big business, and philanthropy. And licensing is an opportunity for companies of various size to use intellectual property which is recognized to build upon an existing relationship with customers, or to develop a new relationship with businesses that are just getting started. And one of the great elements of licensing is the credibility it brings, regardless of the size of business, and how it's able to place awareness upon philanthropy that any company cares about. A few examples of licensing: every cold beverage you buy in the supermarket from Starbucks, it's a license from Coca-Cola. And every toy that we buy at Disney, it's a license from Disney sold at the parks. And those are just two examples of enormous companies who use the benefit of licensing to enhance their portfolio. And we've been doing this for years with large companies. And during COVID-19, this period of racial unrest and financial instability for small business, we've developed Kathy Ireland's Small Business Network to make licensing available from our company to firms with fewer than 100 employees and less than $10 million in annual revenue. And we're very grateful to the members and of BIZCon and LA Chamber of Commerce. We're so grateful. And one of my goals today is to get to know you. I hope that today we can begin ongoing dialogues. In some measure, we're all impacted by this trifecta of COVID, racism, and financial unrest. And we're forced to pivot and learn new ways of moving forward. And many have lost their businesses, jobs, and are forced to start over. And throughout the decades, defeats and starting over, that's something that our company, Kathy Ireland Worldwide, or as we call our company, KIWW, is very acquainted. And oftentimes people ask, how was an aging pregnant model who started our company 27 years ago at our kitchen table, how was I able to turn a mere idea into this business that would grow and continue to thrive despite the economy? The first lessons I learned were in childhood. At 4 years old, I was painting rocks and selling them from my wagon with my sister. Sold mine for a nickel, and Mary sold hers for a dime. And I recognized that, even though mine were not as sophisticated, I was 3 years younger, I did really well. And I learned at a young age that my customers appreciated a good value. The first serious job was a paper route, had to be 11 years old. When I came of age, my dad shoves this newspaper ad under my nose, which read, "Newspaper carrier wanted. Are you the boy for the job?" Dad knew the reaction that was going to get. I wrote to the paper, "I'm not the boy, I'm the girl. I deserve an opportunity. I can do this just as well as any boy." I was a scrawny 11-year-old wondering, what did I get myself into? I'm struggling riding my bicycle up the hill, a very large route indeed. And this man, he's standing at the end of his driveway, clearly agitated. As I hand him the paper, he begins yelling, saying, "What are you doing here? This is a boy's job. You have no business being here. You're never going to last." And I didn't let him see me cry. But to this day, I've got to tell you, I'm very grateful to that man, because there were a lot of days I wanted to quit. But I wouldn't, and I couldn't, because what would that do to the next girl who would want such an opportunity? I held on to the route, and each year I won Carrier of the Year from my district. My dad always said, "Kathy, give 110%. If the customer expects the paper on the driveway, you put it on the front porch." So that was the foundation of learning to underpromise and over-deliver. It's the foundation of our business today. And during the paper route days, there were many opportunities for a young girl to be manipulated, either overtly or dangerously subtly. And that route, it taught me thousands of hours of customer service, the door-to-door collection of payment. And there would be times when clients would move out of town with no notice without paying their newspaper bill, which would leave me responsible for covering that cost. So my first serious business challenge was being responsible for a debt that I hadn't incurred. And that's something that continues even to this day. It's powerful lessons. And we bump into that today. Sometimes it's people without ethics, and sometimes it's people simply going through hardships and they cannot pay their bills. I'm grateful for our team. As a private company, we get to make decisions that would not fly on Wall Street, and we have the privilege of building and protecting jobs. So my formal education ended when I barely graduated from high school. Maria talked about failure, and I look at failure as education. And in that regard, I'm very well educated. There is not enough time today to share even a fraction of those failures. But the entire time I worked as a model, I was trying and failing businesses. I saved my money to put a team together, a very inclusive team. Our global creative director, a Mexican-American man. Our vision strategist is a Black man. And our CFO is Jewish and gay. We have people of every background, every race, also every thought, because I find it very boring to be surrounded with people just like me. We get the best ideas when we listen to one another. However, one common thread that we all share is how people are treated. And people over profits is critical, and that's core to our team. So we started our brand with a single pair of socks made from recycled soda pop bottles. And in the early days, we loaded our backpacks. We went door to door to retailers presenting our socks. A lot of doors slammed in our faces. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. Heard it all. It just, no simply means now we're talking. And what a gift I didn't recognize all the rejection I received as a model really helped in the world of business, because when people say no, it means now we're talking. I'll come back tomorrow. Maybe your circumstances will have changed, or maybe you'll be in a better mood. So please don't let the no's stop you. You're talking, so please continue with those dreams. And in the early days of our brand, there were times when we slept in airports to save money. And some people think of that as a big deal. It's really not. Whatever material things we sacrifice to live our dream, it's not a sacrifice, it's a bold investment. And that bold investment allowed our brand to grow. We were in a handful of sporting goods stores. Kmart started carrying those socks. They asked for exclusivity at their channel. The brand grew. As the brand grew, our spending grew also. Learned some powerful lessons there. The airport sleepovers were long gone, but still we were assured by our financial advisors that our spending was far below the norm for a company our size. Then we get a call that Kmart was filing bankruptcy. This $40 billion giant upon whom our team was dependent was filing bankruptcy. The bank scheduled a lunch, informing us that our team was entirely responsible for the liability, and if this didn't work out, they would take away all our homes. And those days were pretty grim. It was the largest bankruptcy in retail history, and my heart still breaks for the thousands of people who lost their jobs, their retirement, their stocks. It was tough times, and there were powerful lessons that our team learned, and I'm grateful. And we stuck with them through those hard times. I'll never walk away from somebody during their most difficult hours. And many, many lessons. And it's something that really taught our team that we've got to be able to pivot. We pulled 24/7 days, working around the clock, and that's powerful. It's being anticipatory is something that I've learned that we have to do. It's anticipating change rather than simply being forced to react to it. As our company grows, our responsibilities grow as well. And something that our company began during this trifecta crisis, it's our Kathy Ireland Small Business Network. It is an effort to support small businesses as they are the engine of our economy and our country. And I believe it is small business that will turn this economy around. And that's one of the new businesses that our team is developing. And something that I've learned that has been powerful is that we need to have a passion for what we're doing. And so often I'll speak with women in particular who will share with me an idea that they have for a business. And I'll follow up with them 6 months later. How is it going? And they'll share, my boyfriend said it was a dumb idea. It was stupid. So I stopped. And my response is, oh my goodness, please don't let someone else's opinion of you define or destroy you. And please don't let anyone put you in a box, and don't put yourself in one either. I am far too odd shaped and I don't fit in anyone's box. And having passion is critical, because that will get us through the difficult times, through those hard days. I believe it's important to figure out what are our values, what is most important to us, and put boundaries in place to protect us. And for me, my priorities, my values are my faith, my family, and then being of service through the work which we do. And the minute the priorities are out of order, I'm a disaster. I mean, my coping skills are out the window and I'm not effective at anything. So I encourage you as well in this, and to look at new opportunities. We're all learning how to work differently and how to serve people differently. Something that many say is counterintuitive, but it works for us, it works for our company. And that is to consider others as more important than yourself. And something that Danita and Maria both talked about is the encouragement and the hope that we're seeing during these really difficult times. You really see people rise to new strengths, and you see them thriving and to experience humanity in beautiful, powerful ways. And that is something that gives great encouragement, and I'm so grateful for. And so I encourage each of us, when somebody is blocking us, no means now we're talking, and don't let that stop you. Believe in what you're doing. I also encourage us to hear criticism. Criticism can be a gift that is oftentimes wrapped in a nasty package, but we've got to open it to discern, is there anything of value here? Is there anything that can be helpful? And I have to admit, I was 25 years old, and as a model, my job description was shut up and pose. I had a rare opportunity to speak, and a critic very publicly said I had a voice that could kill small animals, and that was not a confidence builder. I love animals, but I was 25 years old. I couldn't order a pizza on the phone. I had a really high squeaky voice. So we need to always learn, how can we improve? How can we do better? The vision of our company, Kathy Ireland Worldwide, is teach, inspire, empower, make our world better. The how is of critical importance to us. And the how for us is, I've had the privilege of working with the UN with their youth program on their 8 Millennium Development Goals, which include everything from eradicating hunger and poverty to supporting education and helping the environment. We've added the initiatives of serving our military and their families, and also the fight against human trafficking. Everyone who's involved in manufacturing, we must be aware. When we started with socks, we began by conducting surprise factory inspections, because we learn a lot when we show up unexpectedly. Anyone can clean up if they know you're coming. So the how is important. So everyone who works with us agrees to support one of these initiatives. And we don't demand a monetary amount. It could be volunteer hours with your team. That lets us know that in success, so much good is happening, and that inspires our team after all these decades of moving forward. I recognize in maturity what a gift it is to be exposed to needs that are far bigger than me, and also opportunities that are far bigger than me. And I'm so grateful to have this time to chat, this time coming up with Maria, and to hear questions from you. I want to get to know you. And in closing this portion, please contact me anytime. I can be reached at Kathy Ireland at kathyireland.com. I ask for your patience with my response, but I would love to hear from you and learn if there's a way that we might be able to be of service to you. I have such respect for small business. And I'm going to share something with you. It's not my own. It's something that I believe to be true. May all your storms be weathered. May all that's good get better. Here's to life. Here's to love. And here's to BIZCON, the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce, its president, CEO, and marketing genius, Maria Salinas, the entire team, Danita, everybody, thank you, and God bless you.
Wow, Kathy, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. I know I'm motivated and I'm excited, and what a great way to start our Wednesday. I love all your stories, how you look at bold investment, how you looked at failure as an education. You have to tell me more later about the socks from bottles. That was very interesting. So I know that our audience would like to learn more. So I'd like to have Maria Salinas help guide us through a fireside chat with you, Kathy. Maria?
Thank you, Danita.
Thank you, Danita. And let me echo that wow. Thank you, Kathy, so much for those words. I remember when you came to the chamber and we had the conversation, and you know, your story as an entrepreneur, the the successes and the failures and the learnings for all that, I knew that it needed to be shared. So I really am grateful for you accepting our invitation today. I have a few questions that will guide us through a little chat that you and I can have, and then I will pass it back to Danita, and I know she'll be taking questions from our audience, and we can engage you further on your experience. But I actually want to start with something that you mentioned in your remarks. You talked about inclusiveness and diversity in the workplace. And I love the way you spoke about the diversity of thought and just how important it is to have, so many perspectives in your decision making, I'm sure. And I'm curious that, we hear so often that, companies that have a diverse thinking in their decision-making process, that they do better. And I'm curious as to your experience. Have you ever felt like that diverse thinking that you had definitely contributed to a better outcome? So I'd love to hear from you on that.
Oh, thank you, Maria. Yes, most definitely. I love being able to have robust debates with people. And my goodness, we certainly do. Being open and actually hearing other points of view, it causes us to grow and learn. And perhaps some of it came from my limited formal education causes me to be a sponge and learn from every opportunity, whether it's reading, speaking to people. Help me understand why you believe what you do and why you're so passionate about it. We come from different perspectives, but I want to learn where your passion comes from and help me understand. And seeking to be open to learn and grow wherever we can. And it most certainly leads to great results that ultimately it helps us serve our customer better. It helps us really listen to our customer. But I really do believe that when it comes to what's truly important to us, our core values, we are on the same page. So it's that the people have to come before the profits and how people are treated. We've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in our human rights contracts. And that is something that there's no argument there. There's no debate there. That is a must. And it's one of the joys of owning and leading a private company is that decisions are made that might not fly on Wall Street. They might not be, if you look at a business turn, Wall Street wants to see a turn every 90 days. And, wonderful companies are attached to Wall Street. However, for us, I like to look at everything big picture, the immediate, but also down the road. What are the lasting impacts going to have? How will it impact jobs? And I love the benefit of that.
Wonderful. And I'm going to pick up on something you just mentioned when we talked about Wall Street expectations, because certainly every small business starts in the kitchen table, like your own story. And you haven't taken your company public. It's still a private company. And several other brands have taken different routes. And maybe you can expand on that a little bit. We can share with our audience, the difference and how retaining that control has made a difference for your company and your brand.
Oh, thank you, Maria. Well, as a private person owning a private company, it's something that I really respect and appreciate. And for many years, we built our brand under the radar, and that suited me just fine. And companies like Forbes began commenting on our business. In fact, they told us they were watching us and they were planning to do a story with or without my participation. So coming from that background of shut up and pose, of course, if I have an opportunity to speak on my behalf, I appreciate that opportunity. And that really forced me out of my shy and selfish shell of quietness to connect with others. Because I think as a private person, I was thinking about my comfort. And in maturity, I recognize, as I mentioned, being exposed to needs that are bigger than us and opportunities that are bigger than us. My comfort is absolutely irrelevant. There's work to be done. We've got to get busy. I mean, even though our brand is 27 years old, we're a baby brand, we're just getting started. And I'm so energized by particularly small businesses who our company has the privilege of working with, who some are family businesses. They've been around for generations. Some are new, started by young entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs of every age. And I'm so inspired by that enthusiasm. And I'm so grateful to mentors in my life who have helped along the way. And I believe in both receiving mentorship and giving mentorship back. And so what a joy it is to connect with small businesses and watch them grow and thrive.
Great. Thank you for that. I think you're right. I mean, I think that the stories of small businesses are so inspiring. You know, I really believe that in today's economy, the recovery, it is the small business can lead us out of this. And I believe that because a little bit of what you just mentioned, you know, in your organization, you've grown to a level where you're impacting small business because they're engaged with you. They're in your supply chain. They're involved with you. How does that make a difference to have that connection from what some might consider a large organization like yours, but still having that connection with the small business entrepreneurs, the young innovators? How does that benefit you?
Oh my goodness, Maria, I get to learn from these leaders, and I never want to stop learning. It's exciting. And we really built our brand. It was grassroots. It was before the Kmart days. We were in, you know, a handful of sporting goods stores, independent retailers. After the bankruptcy, we were in debt and we were starting all over again. And again, we began with independent retailers, and we grew. People said it was impossible. They said you can't go at mass and move up. But when people say, no, you can't do it, my question is why? And just because something hasn't been done before doesn't mean that it can't be done. And so we moved to luxury retailers, Neiman Marcus, Horchow, luxury retailers all over the globe. And we were told it couldn't be done. And also when somebody says, yes, I want to know how. Okay, you say, yes, this is going to work, but I want to understand everything that's going on behind the scenes, what's going on at the factories, how is everybody being treated? Is this something that I agree on, that in success we can all feel great about? So it's really important to ask those kinds of questions.
Thank you for that, Kathy. So insightful to hear your very authentic stories that so many entrepreneurs have. So we really appreciate that. I probably have 1 minute left before I have to wrap up here. So I'm just going to ask a fun question here. What can you tell us about Elizabeth Taylor?
Oh my goodness.
Knows that you had a great relationship. Was it jewelry? Was it the Academy Award?
You know, Elizabeth Taylor, I had
leave on that fun.
I had the privilege of being mentored by Elizabeth and working together, and Elizabeth became family. I think something that many people don't know about Elizabeth, so genuine, so authentic, and such a smart business person. My goodness, Elizabeth would read her contracts. She would look at everything. If she had questions, she'd ask them. Bold, courageous. As a philanthropist, she just fought forward regardless of death threats because she was fighting against HIV/AIDS. Elizabeth didn't let any of that stand in her way. So she's my forever hero.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Thank you so much for sharing a part of your world, of your insight with our small business community here. We're in tough times here, and globally, but these stories need to be told because there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and your experience, hopefully, I know will inspire others. I know it will. So
thank you, Maria.
Let me conclude with that, and have I'll send this back to Danita, who can take some questions from our audience.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Maria. Oh my God, Kathy, you are just a badass. You are my hero. I just love listening to you and learning from you. And we have lots of questions coming in from the audience. And I'm going to read the first one that came in. It's from Dana. She said, would love to hear about techniques to use for successfully networking with industry peers.
Thank you, Dana. Social media is a great way. LinkedIn is a wonderful way to connect on a business format where some of the other social medias are more social. LinkedIn can really connect us in powerful ways. The Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce is a fantastic resource that we have, and I encourage everybody connect with the LA Chamber of Commerce. It's powerful, and learn, and the SBA, Small Business Association, learn about loans. And my goodness, your wonderful sponsor even spoke about loans that are available through their bank. So there's resources out there, and I encourage you to seek those, to enjoy those resources, and just not to let no get in your way. And when we're knocked down, we got to get back up. Fear is something that can be paralyzing in these times. And so I encourage everyone, even if you're feeling fear, you got to fight through. You got to fight through another day. And there is always a new day tomorrow, but you got to get up and fight through and not hide. We've got to face it, and we can get through this.
I love it. You said no means now we're talking.
Yes.
Our next question comes from Cindy. She wants to know, what keeps you up at night?
Cindy, thank you for that. What keeps me up at night is if there's anything that I've done, whether it's hopefully not intentional, but intentional or unintentional, that has hurt someone else. Sometimes people say, well, you know, I have no regrets. I do. And my regrets are anything that I have said or done that would cause harm to another. And I pray that that I don't do that intentionally ever. But I'm failed. So I just pray that my mistakes, I can learn from them and not repeat them. And when I look at the suffering around the world, and recognize that we do have opportunities, even if it's one person we can have an impact on. If it's one person who we don't know what's going on in someone's day, what they're going through, but if we can offer a kind word of encouragement versus a dismissal or just not even making eye contact with someone, that can go a long way. So it keeps me up at night. I'm grateful when I'm up at night, actually. That's a wonderful question, because when I'm up, my faith is first and foremost in my life, and not here to impose it on anyone. I also can't separate it from me. It's who I am. So when I'm awake in the night, I ask the Lord who He would have me pray for and how. And in my favorite book, it tells us over 500 times, do not fear. So I just remove that, and I just ask Him to carry me. Some people think it's weak. Yeah, I'm weak. I need Him. I need the support of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Kathy, I love your big heart, your brains, your beauty, both inside and out. Just amazing. Our next question comes from Andrea. She says, how has diversity on your team driven creativity and innovation? And also, how do you decide who to license with? What values are important in deciding who to do business with?
Excellent question, Andrea. The diversity, which I've come to call inclusiveness, because it's an inclusive team. We come from all over the world, and again, that goes. I mean, I love having the different races. Somebody I work with on a nonprofit area, Hardwired Global, is an incredible organization that fights for religious freedom of all people around the world, especially in persecuted places. People of all different faiths, people with no faith at all. It fights for their freedom and teaches tolerance and peace and love. And I love that. And something in a book that this organization put out recently called The Peaceful Garden, it also makes me think about what we're going through right now in the world with race, is if we have a garden and it's just one color of flowers, how dull that is, how boring that is. But to bring in, we get a beautiful bouquet when we get that diversity, that inclusiveness. And our customer is diverse. We have customers, and as our brand has grown, our demographics have grown. And so it's wonderful to have team members who speak the different languages, who understand different cultures, who understand how people are living, socioeconomic differences. All of these are important to bring to the table, and we learn from one another, and ultimately our customer gets better service. So that I love.
I'm taking away so many notes. A peaceful garden. I love that metaphor. Thank you for sharing that with us. The next question, I love this one, is how is professional coaching, or how has professional coaching played a part in your success? And do you provide coaching opportunities?
Oh, with our Kathy Ireland Small Business Network, this is something new that our team is developing because we're recognizing that just a great need for that. And I do have the privilege of serving on some boards of directors with the NFL PI Players Inc. and also the WNBA PA Players Advocates. Athletes, like models, typically have a short-term career, and helping these incredible people learn to pivot and recognize what they can do for the entirety of their lives, how they can raise money. So yes, in that sense, we're doing more of that with KI Small Business Network. And mentoring it's something that we can all get access to by reading, whether we go to the library, look online. There's a wealth of information. Another mentor in business and finance is Warren Buffett, and he's very prolific, so we can read from anybody. And I also encourage people, be alert and pay attention. Something I share with our children is, yes, be alert and pay attention. Hopefully you'll find a few traits in your dad and me that you like, you might want to emulate. Unfortunately, you're going to see some funky behavior in us that we might not even be aware of. Take the good, reject the bad. There's no perfect person. So we've got to have our eyes wide open so we don't repeat past mistakes that are just comfortable to us. Mentor, yes, with our eyes wide open, and be really discerning.
Great insights, great perspective. The next question is, how do small businesses get started with licensing?
There are many different paths in the world of licensing and intellectual property. That is really the fastest growing business in our nation, and it's powerful. I would say if you contact me at Kathy Ireland at kathyireland.com, I would have more time to explain that, because there's different routes to that. There's wonderful, the licensing expo is a wonderful avenue, but of course not everybody is able to participate in that. So if you contact me at Kathy Ireland at kathyireland.com, we'll be happy to share some insights and thoughts that hopefully could be helpful.
Perfect. I'll make sure that they follow up. And this is also another technical question, I think. This person is a light fixture and furniture designer, and they would like to know about your design process for home furnishings.
Our design process, so we have an in-house design team. I serve as chief designer, John Carrasco, our global creative director, genius. And most of our team, we've been together 30 years. We've got our millennials and our Gen Z too, but John and I have been together for 31 years now. And we have our team. The different manufacturers with whom we work, they also have design teams. But if we're talking about one of the sectors of our business is home. And so whether it's our partners with rugs at Nurasan, our lighting partners right out of California, Pacific Coast Lighting, Lamps Plus, our furniture with Bush or Michael Amini. So each of those companies has design teams as well. They will get the inspirations from us, and we get this from travel, from talking to people, being on the streets, being alert. I get most of my inspiration from nature, because the ultimate designer is God, and what I see in the colors and the hues and the earth tones with the pops of wildflowers. I love that. So that is such a great inspiration. And we share inspirations with each of these teams so that our designs are cohesive. Everyone's working from the same palettes, the same inspiration, and so it makes sense. It's not completely matchy-matchy, but yet it makes sense. So that's our process.
I have one last question, and it's my question. I'll take some executive privilege here. You have accomplished so much in your lifetime, but yet you're still so young. What's next on the horizon for you, Kathy?
You are so kind. I feel young. And I actually, I've got a lot of years under my belt, but I'm actually, I feel like as far as our brand is concerned, I feel like we're a baby brand and we're just getting started, because I love what we do. And it's exciting to me to be able to work with others, to build more jobs, to protect jobs and grow. And I see that especially during, times like we're all going through right now, where it can seem pretty bleak and hopeless, there are opportunities. So I encourage everyone, just to hang in there and fight it through. But what really encourages me and what I want to do next, I want to keep my eyes on the horizon and my ear to the ground and anticipate what people need even before they need it, and find new ways of serving them. And I know that we're always going to have to be nimble and seek to serve them in new and different ways, and just to be able to do that. So I have no plans for retirement. I plan on going as long as we can. When we started our brand back in '93 with the socks, we had an internal document that we referred to as the aging of Kathy Ireland, which I love, because here I was, this aging pregnant model, but this gives me the freedom to grow and get old, but I don't have to fight it. I don't have to pretend like I'm in my 20s or 30s or 40s. I can just be me at every age and celebrate that. And it's not about me, it's about our customer. Small case K, small case I, intentional. It's about our customer. So an answer to your question, we'll just keep serving our customers as long as there are needs. We'll seek to find solutions.
Love it. Maria and Kathy, thank you for such an amazing beginning to BIZCon 2020. And guys, we're just getting started. From here, we invite you to dive into our breakout sessions of your choice. To the left of your screen, you'll see the menu of engagement options for our conference. Simply select the sessions selection and you can jump right in. We will begin promptly at 11:10. If you're having a hard time selecting, not to worry. The Chamber team will ensure you receive a recording of all of today's sessions following today's event. But before we depart, I'd like once again to thank our sponsors. Presenting sponsors, silver sponsors, bronze sponsors. Again, thank you to all our sponsors. Our today would not be possible without your support. So thank you all and enjoy the day.